Hi guys, I'm Scott Speed, driver of this amazing Volkswagen Beetle GRC car. I got good news for the iRacing fam. We got this coming in. I'm currently working on it myself personally to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. With the addition of dirt and now this mean car, it is going to be so fun. And it's going to be available free to all the iRacing members. Personally, I can't wait to get out there and race you guys on it.
When I sat in the car, you always wonder, what's it going to feel like? You know, it was my first time driving a mid-engine GT car. You know, my thoughts were, wow, this is really good for our first time in a car. I was really surprised by it. You're sitting low, you got the A-pillars at steep angles, the windshields at steep angles, you can see the fender flares. I think we have a chance to win. Everything's got to go right, but I think we have a car that can win the race or be on the podium. But can you imagine how cool that would be to go back 50 years later to the year and do it?
Welcome one and all to V8's Online's live broadcast of the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship presented by Sim Racing Bay. Sonoma is the circuit that we're racing at this round. My name is Reese Gardner and joining me in the commentary box is Jay Kennedy. Well, Jay, it's been Sonoma City at V8's Online in the last few weeks and, wow, we get to go for it again in the Porsche Carrera Cup.
Yeah, hello everyone. I love this circuit, as I've said how many times now. After tonight, you won't have to hear me again for a little while, but yeah, I'm excited to be back. We've got 2 races at Sonoma tonight. The shootout format qualifying is back again. We've got a pit stop in amongst it as well tonight for something a little bit different. I'm really looking forward to it. Should be good.
Yeah, certainly. It's we've gone back to the old two-race shootout format, or two rounds, should I say, as we saw earlier in the season with Barber Motorsports Park and Lime Rock. This time we have Sonoma and what was the other one, Jay?
Good question. I can't remember either.
Excellent. So we're really on the ball tonight. Going to double check that and get back to you on that. But yeah, Sonoma, one of those tracks where there isn't a point on the circuit where you're not turning. And as we know, these Carrera Cup cars, they really like not having any weight on the front. So it's a fairly interesting game to wheel one of these things around here, especially in the middle of a very competitive field like this. It's actually a lot closer than it has been in recent times.
It's a very, very close field at the moment. In practice, the top 10 separated by under a second. The top 4 separated by 6/7 of a second. Top 3 separated by a quarter of a second. So it's very, very close. The closest we have seen in this championship for a very, very long time.
Yeah, certainly. Josh Muggleton, the guy who has far and away been the class of the field this season, currently on an 11.5 in practice as the session is about to come to an end, but just behind him on a 1:11.673 is Ben Dowell. So should look for a bit of a challenge from him. And of course, the guy that we've seen up in the top 3, top 5 or thereabouts all season, Michael Healy. He's treading very familiar ground here tonight, as well as is Scott Larnack and Jake Maloney.
Yeah, Gary Hamilton in amongst that as well. Bo Albert, Jackerman, Jason Hyde and Justin Rougier rounding out the top 10. Those guys, as we said, separated by under a second, so it's pretty close. High field, 25 cars we've got tonight, separated by around about 3 seconds, so it's pretty close the whole way through the field. So really looking forward to it. Should be a very, very close race. Once we get to racing, race 1, of course, 15-minute race tonight, or race 1, then we do it all again. 30-minute race not long after it. And they're going to throw in a pit stop in amongst it as well. What the guys do in the pit stop is entirely up to them, whether they do nothing, change tyres, add fuel. That's at their discretion, but they must traverse the pit lane, stop in their pit box, have something happen and go again.
Yep, certainly. And of course, that'll give a bit of an opportunity for drivers who have suffered any kind of damage to get that fixed up. So they won't lose as much time as they would otherwise, since everyone else has to go through the pit lane at least once. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing if that mixes things up in any amount, which I'm sure it will.
Yeah, it'll definitely stir the pot a little bit. And the idea of when you take your pit stop as well, there is a little bit of a pit stop window, which I'm trying to refresh my memory of right now, looking up the rules again. See Bo Albert do the jump. That's always good. As qualifying ready to get away. First driver who out on track. Johnson is drivers now. What's happening for qualifying? While he does that, we'll quickly confirm strategy. Oh, sorry, the pit stop window for race 2. I'm just a minute.
And while and I'll just confirm something myself, having looked at the calendar, this is actually the second round of the special shootout round. Lime Rock and Sonoma is what that's done.
Part of it.
Yes, and the first set of special double round, double points thingamajiggies, as they are, was Barber Motorsports Park and Oran Park Raceway. I tell you what, I feel slightly embarrassed now, having made such a big faux pas.
All right, it's been a long day today. Been lots happening today in the real world. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there watching. Hopefully you've got the kids away and you're enjoying yourself and having a bit of a relaxed time, watching some sim racing, which is what I know I enjoy doing on my off times.
Yep, certainly, and I'm sure a lot of the drivers in this field are dads themselves who have a couple of little ones who have help them have a great day today. So happy Father's Day to any fathers in the field tonight.
George Johnson is the first driver out on track to do the one and only flying lap. So interesting to see how this all pans out. We know the last time that we had the shootout qualifying, it definitely threw up a little bit of a mixed field, and tonight will definitely do the same. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. Johnson coming through the hairpin for his flying lap, or to start his flying lap.
Yep, and this start-finish area at Sonoma, I said a V8 Scops last week. This is a very interesting part of the circuit because you're basically turning all the way through this opening section of the lap. The car loads up as you go up the hill, and then you got to switch back in the other direction and try and keep it as tight as you can through turn 2. Then you got a bit of an S here at turn 3 and 4. Very easy to miss the apex here, either by running wide or going over the curbs. Then a blast down this downhill straight, and then a hard right here in the chute, running over the curb, and George ran a little bit wide there, but then you got a big braking zone here for this hairpin. Also taking care not to take too much curb on the inside, and then flat out through this next section of S's, just tapping the brakes, keeping all that weight on the front, riding those curbs, going over the rise. And then down through this flat-out left-hander, one of the fastest points on the track, and then hard on the brakes once again for a fast flick right-hander. Then a dip in the straight signifies your braking point for the final hairpin, running as tight as you can, making sure, of course, not to hit those tyre barriers on the inside. And George Johnson has demonstrated a lap of the Cup layout of Sonoma Raceway. Question is, what time is it going to be? It's going to be a 1:14.0 from George Johnson for his flying lap.
Out on track, we've got Matthew on his out lap at the moment. He will be next in the queue to put in shootout lap.
Yes, indeed. Matthew Kidd running good enough for 23rd in the practice session, a 1:14.007. Runs a little bit wide in the hairpin to start off his lap. So now let's see what he can do in this first section of the circuit. Taking it very easy through the first turn here. He's not barreling into the first section of turns, taking it nice and easy. Of course, that's the big question of shootout qualifying. Do you take it easy and just post a banker time, or do you go all out, win it or bin it?
Guys up the point end will be the second one for sure. But for me, if I was doing it, I'd be just trying to make sure I get a lap in. You know, you're going to end up ahead of a few drivers who will invalidate their lap time with a mistake on this shootout run.
Yeah, it's classic risk versus reward, isn't it, in these sessions?
It is for sure. And yeah, as I said, I think to me it depends on where you are in practice, or where you see your pace, as to what sort of time you, or how hard you actually try and push during this shootout run. But Matthew Kidd looking like he's just keeping it nice and consistent, making sure he gets the time to count, opposed to pushing overly hard. It's just kept it nice and smooth, nice and controlled, and it actually won't be too bad a lap time.
Yeah, certainly not. Very good lap from Matthew Kidd. That's going to be a 14.018. So not far off. Johnson, I should say, is not far off, and that's only 0.03 of a second separating them. Currently provisional first and second right now.
Yep, Daniel Stevens will be the next driver out on track for this qualifying run.
Yep, Daniel.
Or MFR.
Yep. MFR, of course, one of the teams that has only started making waves in the community recently, so it's good to see them out there and having a go.
Yep, they've joined in a technical alliance too with Performance Sim Sports as well, so expect to see the drivers from MFR move up the field in whatever series they're running in the coming weeks, months and seasons to come, as we near the end of all of our seasons.
Yeah, wow, yeah, it's I still can't quite believe we're in September already. It feels like it was April just yesterday.
It feels like only last week that we started round one of Scops.
Yeah, I still have trouble comprehending that. We're over 10 rounds into the season now as Daniel Stevens starts his qualifying lap. And he's doing rather well in those first couple of turns. Nice clean lines.
He's kept it nice and controlled through turns 1 and 2. See how committed he is up here over the curb. Doesn't take too much, so just the number one strategy here at the moment, just trying to make sure he posts a lap time. Whoa, that's a bit too much curb.
Nope. That's it. That's lap done for Daniel Stevens. Unfortunately, of course, demonstrating very well for us that curb on the entry to the chute. It can make or break your lap and your race.
We're on board for that, so we'll take an external view of that. Unlucky for Daniel Stevens, so he will start at the back of the field now for the race tonight.
Noticing on that lap that Stevens was turning in quite early for all of the turns, so I don't know, maybe he's having a little bit of an issue with getting the front end to stick in that car of his, but either way, very unfortunate for him, just taking a bit too much of that very abrasive curb and going almost completely airborne, lap over.
Alex Greenwood out on track next, starting his flying lap.
Yep, and as we have seen a couple of other times, Greenwood just taking it easy into turn 1. I've said it all season. The main thing about driving these cars is making sure that you have as much weight on the front end as possible when you're entering a corner. Otherwise, your entire lap just gets ruined, and Greenwood doing very well to avoid those big curbs.
They're looking nice and controlled at the moment. This is looking nice and smooth.
A little bit of a lock up into the hairpin, but that shouldn't hurt him too much.
Controlled is about the best way to describe this lap at the moment.
Yeah.
Maintaining speed.
Some very nice lines that I'm seeing through the S's. I think this could be a 13. Ooh, takes quite a bit of curb there on the right-hander. Yeah, very aggressive. Let's see how he goes into the hairpin. Locking up once again. Maybe overshoots the turn slightly, but nonetheless, that is lap completed from Alex Greenwood. What kind of time is this going to be?
13.8. Yep, 13.8 lap.
So that puts him to provisional P1 on the timesheets. The next person to start a hot lap is Griffin Gardner in car number 121.
Love this paint job Griffin Gardner's running. The Mobile 1 HSV Racing livery transferred over onto the Porsche Carrera Cup car.
Yep, very nice livery indeed, and a very nice line through that chicane, yeah.
It's got the right bounce off the curb there. This is a little bit wide, but the car's still pretty settled over the bump. That is that strange curb. This is looking pretty controlled lap at the moment. Just the right amount of aggression so far.
Yep, let's see how he does through these S's. He's staying off those curbs, that double curb, but sort of compromised his line through the S's a little bit, but he's managed to keep it under control. He's getting off the throttle nice and early for that fast right-hander.
Very, very controlled at the moment.
Ooh, yeah. Very nice entry into the hairpin. You often see drivers firing it straight towards the inside to try and get to the apex as early as possible, but not Griffin. He took a nice wide line. Sticks to the inside as well. That's going to be a 13.19.
But 7/10 gap over the rest of the field at the moment. Driver out is Jay Boving, a driver that we've seen a fair bit throughout this championship.
Yeah, Boving, he's been around, hasn't he? He's been up and down the field a fair bit. Only posted a time good enough for 17th in practice, but we've seen him around the top 10 in past rounds, so he has a lot of potential.
Definitely does. Been very, very up and down, as you said, throughout the entire championship. As it stands at the moment, currently in 12th position in the championship at the moment.
So this looks like maybe an outlap at 8/10, I should probably say. Of course, running a livery for Donate Life Week 2017, which has passed, but it's still a very good cause for promoting organ donation. There we are. Car number 6 starting his hot lap. So we did a 13.147 in practice, so that would be good enough to put him provisional first in the session, but oh, he's overshot turn 2 slightly.
I don't think it's compromised him too much though, because the way that the angle of the corner is there, you can run it a little bit wider than you think.
Yeah, certainly. It looks like a very good lap everywhere else from Jay Boving. Oh, rear end just kicking out slightly into the chute. Another nice line. As at this point in the circuit, you can really see the bumps and how they affect the car. Line compromised slightly for Jay Boving, but he's got the aggression to make up for that. Bit of a downshift. Just trying to keep as much weight on the front as he can. And then down into the hairpin.
That looked pretty good through the hairpin there. He did cut it a little bit fine on the inside, but it still looks pretty good lap.
13.4.
Ooh.
Alright, and the next person on a hot lap is Boving's teammate, running the same livery, Warwick Brown. And Brown, another driver that we've seen up and down in the field in past rounds, was very close to Boving in practice as well, running a 13.142, good enough for 16th. Runs that wide entry into the hairpin and then gets on the throttle nice and early. Good launch. So let's see what Brown can do into the first turn. Runs a bit wide again, but once again, as you mentioned last lap, Jay, it can be recovered, and it looks like he's done that nicely.
Doesn't look like it's hurt him at all, and that was very, very aggressive through the second complex of corners, through 3 and 4. Just pretty good so far.
Yeah, it definitely does. Looks nice and controlled over that exit curb and the chute as well. As he comes down to the hairpin, let's see. Oh, a little bit of a lock-up, but that's no trouble in these cars. Whoa, bit of a slide over the hill. Once again, managed to recover it. Alright.
This looks pretty good, though. All in all, I think this will be a pretty quick time because it's looked very, very committed.
No. Oh, that might have hurt him slightly.
Yeah, I don't think it's hurt him as bad as we originally thought, though. I think this still could be okay. Could get into the 12s, I think. No, just outside 13.0, I think.
13.176.
Let's go to the top.
So, yeah. Warwick Brown to the top. Very nice job.
Not much enough.
That's... Yeah, certainly not. But that's the nice thing about having a shootout session at this track, Jay. The laps are very short, so we don't have much time to wait in between laps as Andrew Stokes starts his run.
Stokes straight into it. Nice through 1 and 2. Clips the curb through 3. Bounces the curb through 4, which is what you want to do. Just a little bit of air. Not too much, though.
Ooh, blinking slightly.
I hurt him a little.
Takes a really wide entry into the hairpin out of the chute.
Pretty good, though, all in all so far for Stokes.
Yeah, this has looked like a decent lap from him. Oh, didn't go quite as efficiently through that corner as he could have, but nonetheless, he
Bit of
still
a
managed
lock
to
up
keep
there
it on
too.
the track. He's shifting very early as well. I'm not too sure what's going on there. He does a 13.6, which puts him P4. Odd end to the lap.
A little bit strange there. So go to Corey Ott, next driver out on track. Got Mark Turner just behind him as well, doing his lap as well. So we're starting to move through the drivers a little bit quicker now.
Yeah,
Later in this session.
Firing it straight to the inside, and very nice line through turn 1. It's looking very controlled over those curbs as well. Looks like that Pro Force Racing Porsche's got a lot of grip to give to Mr. Ott.
Yep, fairly new signing to that team as well, so pretty excited to be part of that team.
Yeah, good bunch of guys, Pro Force. Two downshifts for the second last corner, or the third last, depending on how you count a corner at this track.
Mystery bag with the corner numbering system they have here, but Ott through the final section. Across the line, it'll just be a 13, mid-13, and 13.6 by the looks of it.
Yep, so that puts him to P4.
Turner just behind him, he'll cross the line. 15.1, so off the pace. Next we go to Wayne Pengelly, or MFR.
Yep.
On his flying lap at the moment.
Looking like a pretty good lap from Wayne. Oh no!
Right on cue.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't classify that as commentator's curse. It was happening as I was talking, so I get off clean this time.
And this could be an out lap. Already at 1 minute 10 now.
Yeah, I think this. Whoa, goodness me! Have a look at that line through the hairpin.
I'll actually go to Mark Dean because he's on a flyer. I can 100%.
Well, that's
lap.
Yeah. Well, I'm unsure if this is a hot lap from Wayne Pendley right now. I think it might be. It's looking
Just
pretty
starting
good
his
so
lap now.
far.
Mark Dean is on his flying lap at the moment because he's coming up to the hairpin. Pretty good at the moment. Time to beat is a 1:13.1. Mark Dean's been pretty consistent in this championship. Currently 7th outright at the moment. He'll be wanting to push on and try and get a top 5. Crosses the line. It's a 13.1. Will he go to the top?
Nope, 13.2. That puts him third.
Lucky for Wayne Pendley now on his flying lap.
Just trying to find him. Where is he? There he is.
Through the fastest corner on the track right now.
Yep, and a very challenging one as well. Not much room if you make a mistake.
As we saw Madison Down do famously last weekend. V8 Scops.
Yeah, for sure. Wayne Pendley, though, crossing the line.
14.
This is going to be 14.1, so that puts him provisional 10th. Got a few other drivers out at the moment. Looks like Mark McDonald is just coming up to start his hot lap.
Jason Hyde's out on his out lap. My apologies to Jason if correct though. Donald starting his flying lap now.
Yeah, looks like Mark Turner's gotten a lap in as well, a 14.8.
Yep.
Mark McDonald, the sole international in the field right now.
Our resident
From
international.
Illinois. Yes. Oh, very aggressive over the curbs.
Like that. I like it when they bounce up on two wheels like that, but it's not the quickest way to do it.
Yeah, oh, almost has a go at doing the same in the hairpin. A little bit
loose.
squirrely in the rear end.
Yeah, it didn't look too healthy on the exit there. Jason Hyde's just starting his flying lap too, so that's good. I got that incorrect the first time, or correct the first time. I said he was on a out lap, I think. I don't even remember anymore. It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
Oh yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Mark McDonald, though, this is. I mean, I suppose our circumstances pale in comparison to his. He's up at like 4 in the morning racing
Day hasn't
this.
even started yet.
Yeah, sim racing for a very early breakfast. As he does a 13.583, puts him provisional 5th.
Back to Jason Hyde in the Craig Lowndes looking livery, the Caltex Vortex 08 machine of Hyde.
Now that is a nice looking car.
Very, very good.
I actually legitimately like that livery. That is fantastic. Hyde going into the hairpin. Nice clean line out.
The quickest lap we've seen.
Yeah. 1:12.2.
Great lap. Almost a full second on the field.
Yeah, so this is the first clue of what the guys at the top will be doing in terms of lap time here. We've just gotten over half of the field doing lap times, so we've got one half to go. And these are all of the fastest drivers in the championship.
In regards to the championship, we haven't really focused on it a great deal. We've got 2 rounds to go. Obviously tonight, next round in 2 weeks' time is at Mount Panorama Bathurst. Scott Larnack leads the championship in regards to drop round points. Outright championship leader at the moment is Bo Albert, but he's down, or not in the championship lead due to drop rounds. So lowest 2 rounds in regards to points don't count. Technically, Bo Albert is in the lead. He can have 2 zeros these next 2 rounds and championship leader, but not quite how it's sitting in regards to the way that the championship put in front of us at the moment. We've got the 2 drop rounds removed, leaves Larnack in the lead.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, for all of the dominance that Josh Muggleton has shown, especially in the early stages of the championship, he's still got a bit of competition. Of course, he's not too far behind Larnack in terms of drop rounds. He's only 19 points, or is it 21? 21 points behind Scott Larnack, and only a point ahead of Bo Albert, if we count the drop rounds. So up the top, it's pretty tight.
It is. The toughest thing for Muggleton is lowest rounds are 0 and 0 in regards to drop round points. So have to make sure that round tonight and next round in 2 weeks' time are absolutely perfect. Else, in a little bit of trouble with it. Larnack has a 0 and a 28. Lowest point scoring races, or rounds I should say. Bo Albert a 28 and a 54. So Albert basically has nothing to lose. He can go all out, win it or bin it situation. Muggleton really has to think championship implications for every single thing that he does tonight. If he scores another 0, that's championship done.
Indeed it is. Well, looking back to this shootout qualifying session, currently on an outlap is Stuart Hall of Dynamic Sim Racing.
Got currently 4th in the championship. Got Ben Dow right on his tail in the championship as well. So very, very close between Stuart Hall, Ben Dow and Corey Ott in Mark Dean in 7th position. He'll take out the next phase of the championship. I don't think they can't quite reach the top 3, these guys, but very, very close from 4th back to 7th between Hall, Dow, Ott and Dean. All gets ready to go on this first flying lap.
Yep, crosses the line straight into the first turn, which continues on for a fair bit up this hill. Looking like a fairly standard line through turn 2. Very nice line over the crest as well. Yeah, this is looking like a very good lap from Stuart Hall so far. It's only about 30 seconds old, but we'll see what he can do on this latter half of the circuit. A very different half of the circuit to the first half.
That looked pretty good there through the second hairpin, or through the hairpin, I should say. Yeah, had it nice and controlled. Changed a gear early to make sure he eliminated the wheel spin, and this looks okay as well, just bouncing it off the curbs up through the S's.
Yep, looks like that car's riding those curbs beautifully. He's looking very smooth and controlled. On the brakes, nice and late. Oh
that's not too good, though.
No.
Cost him a lot of time. This will drop him back through the timesheets as well.
Looked like a very quick lap, though. Let's see what the end time is going to be. 13.6.
We're going to put him right in the middle, 8th. Go to Michael Hammond. He is the next driver out on track. He's on a flying lap at the moment.
Yep, the laser racing driver. Enjoying his Porsche Carrera Cup racing ever since the car came out. And that's a nice line into that hairpin. He's firing it straight to the inside once again, almost turning the corner into a V shape. That was a very good end of the lap there from Michael Hammond. Let's see what he can do here.
Mid 12. Go to second, I think. 12.9.
High 12.
Justin Rougier just starting his flying lap. Jackerman will be starting his straight after. So Rougier celebrating his first ever Father's Day this week, or today, I should say. Happy Father's Day to Justin.
Yes, indeed. Hopefully he manages to make it even better with a strong result here tonight. Oh, look at that. Beautifully riding those curbs.
Saying that, he's actually got a little bit of damage. I think he got that from start or the end of his flying, the end of his out lap. Front left is fairly damaged. Hopefully that won't cost him too much time. Oh, look at the lockup. But he's managed to hold on.
Wow.
Well done.
Very nice. Just shot for the inside of the corner. Jesus, take the wheel. And away he went. So let's see what Rougier can do on this lap. It's going to be a 12.548. So that puts him second. Excellent stuff.
Jackerman next.
Yep, just coming up to the chute here on his hot lap.
Wonder if that damage was all that's cost Rougier that time. Possibly put it into provisional first. This has looked nice and controlled from Jackerman so far.
Yeah, very nice lap. Have a look at how he goes through the S's here. Runs a little bit wide. Doesn't quite hit the curbs as well as he'd like to. A little bit of oversteer, but keeping it on the track is priority number one in this type of qualifying session. Down the final stretch. Again, firing it straight to the inside of the hairpin. Extremely tight turn. And across the start-finish line, he's going to go. This is probably going to be a 12.
About a 12.5.
12.5.
Just in behind Justin Rougier's time. And when I say just, I mean just 400ths of a second. Bo Albert next. He's just about to start his flying lap. He's giving us a little bit of headlight.
Hello, Bo. As he kicks up a couple of cones on the run-up to the hairpin, which he takes one of the most extreme launch lines I've ever seen.
He has to have those headlights on auto flash, mustn't he?
Yeah.
He must have that button mapped or something like that to flash like that.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be a macro. As he comes through turn 2. Excellent line there from Bo.
Nice and smooth so far. Oh, that was beautiful with the two wheels up in the air. This part of the track's been catching a lot of drivers out. Can't run too wide here. Nice and smooth. That's good.
Yeah, this is looking like the best lap. The best lap I've seen all night so far. But now, how's he going to go through the S's? It's very easy to get unsettled through here. Looks like some clean lines, though.
This looks nice and controlled.
Oh, a little bit of a wiggle under brakes into the hairpin, but he's managed to keep it under control once again. So what can Bo Albert do in this session? They got a short amount of time to go. 12.6.
Fourth. The time that we saw from...
And he celebrates in spectacular fashion.
straight into the cat fencing. That time from Jason Hyde is actually a lot better than we thought.
Yeah,
Very, very
I'm
good
quite
lap from
impressed.
Hyde.
Yeah, it looks like Jake Maloney's just started his lap.
Yep. That new look DTL Esports team car. New look, new name.
Yes. That new orange reminds me more of carrot juice than pumpkin soup, as the old TTL orange seemed to remind me of. Sorry, Jan. You know I got to make a food reference at least once.
Look, it wouldn't be a race if you didn't bring up some sort of food. Maloney's, though, looking very, very smooth in the carrot.
He certainly is. Oh, kicking up a little bit of dust. That's not an off track, though, so fair
look
play
at the
to
lock
him.
up. The front
Yeah.
front right was locked at the most perfect point, unlocked at the right time. This looks very, very good. Will we see an 11? Not quite. Will he go to the top, though? Just.
Yeah, he will.
2 100ths. Clear of Jason Hyde. Maloney with a 12-2.
Yeah, very good lap there from Maloney. This track is sort of warm, about 33 degrees Celsius, so these guys don't have very much grip to play with. Gary Hamilton crossing the line here to start his hot lap. Very aggressive turn into turn 2, going right across that curb.
After Hamilton, I think we've only got 4 drivers left as well to punch in lap times. Hamilton, Larnack, Muggleton, Dowell, and Healy.
Yep. Oh, again, Hamilton, extremely aggressive lines through the chute. He was very close to clipping that barrier. Gary Hamilton, in the broadcasts that I've commentated on that he's been in, he's been a pleasure to watch. He's one of the most spectacular drivers I've ever seen. He always goes all out, sliding the car a little bit. Oh, just...
Big lock up.
Unfortunately, he went overboard there.
It's going to hurt his overall lap time in the end. Across the line, it's still in the 12s.
Very nice
12-9
from Gary Hamilton.
to 9. It's scary to think what he may have done without that issue right at the end of the lap. We go to Scott Larnack starting his flying lap.
Yes, and in fairness to Hamilton, that's a very easy thing to do in these cars, in these heavy and unstable braking zones that you see at this track. That rear end, once it goes, there's not much chance of you getting it back in due course. But Scott Larnack, the championship leader on drop rounds, have a look at that. Very aggressive with the curbs. Oh, might have gotten it a little wrong over the rise. Just clipping that curb through the chute. This is looking like quite the aggressive lap from Larnack here.
Yeah, Larnack's going the all-out approach. Win it or bin it. You're not first, you're last. I like that style, though. I think for shootouts, you've got to be really aggressive if you want to try and win races. This has been the epitome of absolute all-out aggression, leaving nothing to chance. He's going all out. Oh, big lock-up,
really,
perfect slide.
Yep, rotated it at the apex. Excellent job of the hairpin there from Larnack. So he crosses the line. Let's see what kind of time he
12-0,
does.
I think it is.
12-1.
12-1.
He goes to the top.
Great lap. Michael
Very
Healy
nice.
next. Coming through the hairpin to start his flying lap. Now to try and chase down Scott Larnack.
Yep, so Healy did an 11.8 in practice. He's got Ben Dowell in front of him there, who lets him by. Ooh, Healy going slightly off track.
Actually would have helped his line a little bit there because he could have left
Yeah.
the throttle open a little bit longer. They're the guys that have done the really quick times, have been really smooth through the chute there. That's been the section that I think's costing a lot of drivers too much time by going overly aggressive. We saw Larnack being very, very nice and smooth through there. Saw quite a few of the guys that have been up towards the top of the timesheets be nice and smooth, and some guys that are a little bit lower than we expected. Probably were too aggressive there, but Healy's looking very, very smooth at the moment.
Yeah, certainly is, and wow, very nice line through the fast right-hander. Just keeps it off the curb. Keeps his tyres from picking up too much dust. Very smooth in the braking zone. Bit of a lock-up. But a very nice exit as well. This is definitely going to be in the 12s. 12-4. So that puts him 4th place.
Two drivers left now. I've got Ben Dowell and then Josh Muggleton. Dowell starts his flying lap.
Oh no! Oh, that's an off track. That's lap done.
Ben Dowell is out of
Oh.
qualifying. Session over for him.
Wow,
After I
that's a
saw some
shock.
replay.
That's a
Run too
big
wide.
shock. So Ben Dowell, who ran a time good enough for second in practice, will unfortunately start right at the back for this race. So, oh, got a feel for the guy there. That's a very frustrating error to make, especially right at the start of your lap.
Very, very easy one to make though, and that's
Yes.
proves how human these guys are. So easy that thing to happen. Yeah. Wait for Muggleton to start this final flying lap.
And start it he does with an incredible launch out of the hairpin. Get as much straight line speed as he can down this section of the circuit to start off the lap. Just riding the brakes up the hill and then on them nice and hard through turn 2. Keeps it nice and steady. Beautiful line through the second turn. Let's see how he goes over here. The car's looking nice and controlled over the curbs.
Beautiful bounce off the curb there.
Mm.
Set the car up nicely. We'll see how he goes through the chute here.
Yeah,
Nice
just
and
clips the
controlled,
curb on
yep.
the inside. Yeah. Also a very nice line through the hairpin as well.
Looks
It does look very good indeed. Let's see how he goes here. Have a look at that. Just touches that curb. Keeping the
actually-
throttle nice and controlled.
looks really slow, but I know he's going very, very quick, but just how he clipped those curbs just look really slow and steady. It's probably why lap times are so quick, is because it looks so smooth. Hard on the brakes into the hairpin for the final time. This looks good. I think
Yep,
we might
hard
see an
on the
11
throttle.
here.
Yep. Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Got
Across the line, Muggleton goes. 11-7. So he takes pole position for the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship for round 8 at Sonoma. Now they got a 15-minute race to deal with.
A fantastic lap there from Muggleton. So, bit of a curveball thrown, bit of a mixed up field, especially from what we saw in practice. Definitely going to hurt Ben Dowell in regards to the championship as well. Said before, he was battling with Stuart Hall, Corey Ott, and Peter Dean, Mark Dean, I should say, for 4th position in the championship. Ben Dowell's already got 2 zeros, so really need some good point scoring rounds. Tonight is going to be a bit of a tough stretch for him, but we'll run through the starting grid race. I'll let you start.
All right, well, Josh Muggleton is your pole man, as we've seen many times this season before. Scott Larnack, 4 tenths behind, taking second place. Jake Maloney lining up in third, with Jason Hyde a very strong fourth. Michael Healy completes the top 5, with Justin Rougier lining up in sixth. Luca Giacomin and Bo Albert, the other ERT drivers, in the top 10, 7th and 8th. Gary Hamilton 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Michael Hammond for Laser Racing.
Then in 11th position, we've got Warwick Brown. Then Griffin Gardner will start from 12th. 7th row of the grid, we'll have Mark Dean and Jay Boving. Got Mark McDonald, Corey Ott, Stuart Hall, Andrew Stokes, Alex Greenwood, and 20th position will be held by Matthew Kidd.
George Johnson, the series runner and administrator, lining up in 21st position, with Wayne Pendley in 22nd, Mark Turner in 23rd, and Daniel Stevens in 24th. And that is your starting grid for this race.
Ben Dow, David Coleman, and Simon Mazzomo. Obviously, we saw Dow not post a lap time at Mazzomo and what I just said.
Coleman?
Coleman, yeah. Coleman was the other one. They didn't post a time in qualifying, a little bit too late joining for shootout qualifying, but they're still able to take the grid right at the field.
And that was when Reese realised with abject horror that he had not joined the server as a spectator.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Whoops! It's been a long day.
I think we've said that a few times.
Yes.
15-minute race for race 1. Around about 13 laps we'll race. And we'll reset, do it all again, and have a 30-minute race based on the finishing positions in this one. There is absolutely no points up for grabs in this one. This is purely to help set the grid for the main race coming up in a very short amount of time, 15 minutes time exactly. Really looking forward to seeing how this goes. It's going to be tight.
It certainly is. And, well, talking about close and tight, how about the starting grid? Got absolutely no room for error coming off the line here at Sonoma. Walls on both sides. It's like a street circuit around the start-finish area, and then it opens up only slightly. But Josh Muggleton has got an empty racetrack in front of him, ready to receive. We'll see how many of the guys can get through here unscathed as the revs rise. And we are green, round 8 of PCCA. Have a look at Healy's start. Very good jump. Looks like Hyde's gotten a very good start as well as they come into turn 1. Maloney running a little wide there in the background, but it looks like Larnack and Muggo have run away with this. Have a look at Hyde there in the background, overtaking Michael Healy through the S's.
Healy's going to get it back though, and Rougier is going to take advantage of this.
He certainly is. Have a look there. Yeah, Giacomin down the back there. Whoa, have a look at Rougier over that curb, and Healy.
Whoa, we
got a car around in the background, and the car's looped it. Oh no, big crash there in the chute. Who's involved in that? There's McDonald, Gary Hamilton, Jay Boving, George Johnson. All of those drivers involved and more. What a shame.
Don't know if we'll see a safety car
Griffin
as well.
Gardner as well.
Started with... Sure what happened. Okay, so Michael Hammond just clipped the curb on the inside at the chute and sent Gary Hamilton a little bit wide, and then behind the guys started to check up. Mark McDonald made contact with Jay Boving, and Jay Boving was the driver that we saw upside down having a little clip.
Well, that's a real shame, because now Hammond's got a huge gap behind him to a cluster of cars. We've got Wayne Pendley, Ben Dowell, Alex Greenwood, Griffin Gardner, Stevens, and Simon Mazzomo involved in this.
Yeah, most of those cars have damage too, so see how they go working their way through the field. As we said, this purely sets the grid. Griffin Gardner looking to make a move up the inside. Alex Greenwood. Oh, there's contact between those two.
Oh, no. Oh, and Gardner's over, and we got another incident at the chute.
Wow.
Oh, no. That, I don't feel that move was on.
That was a little bit of a late move there from Griffin Gardner, and heavy contact made between those two. Uppercut Price Racing replay.
Yeah, that's I feel like Gardner could probably have afforded to stay behind there. I mean, regardless of any good exit that he got from the corner before, he tried to send it up the inside. He turned in early over the curb, and then he was a passenger. Not really much he could do. Going right into Greenwood, and then another few drivers got involved in the mess.
Go back to the front, back with live pictures once again. Muggleton, about a 1 second gap back to Larnack, then a big gap back to Jake Maloney next. Jason Hyde has Justin Rougier and Michael Healy behind, so Rougier and Hyde have both cleared from Healy.
Yeah, very good stuff from those guys. Jason Hyde maintaining 4th place. Looks like the top 4 is unchanged from the start. Or at least has settled back into that. Ooh, Rougier running a little bit wide onto the dirt.
Healy's going to take advantage of this. He's right up on the tail, but he actually lost a bit of a momentum through the little kink, and now has Luca Jacobin in behind, and Bo Albert, who just makes a little bit of a mistake. We're nearly a third of the way through this race already.
Wow, goodness me, already.
11 minutes left on the clock.
Ben Dowell's made his way up into 10th place now, after starting 26th.
And his car's clean as well. I don't know how he got through lap 1, but he's done a great job to keep it out of trouble.
Any wonder he was able to not get involved in any of the carnage that happened on lap 1.
Must have a magic ball in there to be able to predict which way to go, because I would have definitely ended up in amongst it. There's no way I would have got through it.
So the front of the field just making their way through one of the first lapped cars. That's Mark McDonald, who unfortunately was one of the guys involved in the Turn 1 crash at the shoot. He's got his car repaired, and now he's back out there to try and just finish.
If he can gain a couple of spots, it's all a big advantage for the next race.
Looks like Rougier has lost a bit of ground to Hyde. Healy putting a bit of pressure on him.
Healy's got to be careful though, because he's got the 2 ERT cars right on his tail, and Luca Jackman and Bo Albert. They'll be ready to pounce if there's a slight little mistake, or if he leaves the door slightly ajar. They'll be there to take advantage.
Yeah, they certainly will. But having a look at lap times, looks like Healy was a couple of tenths faster than Rougier on that last lap. Healy, the fastest car out of that battle pack right now.
Yeah, Healy's looking a little bit smoother in regards to lap pace. And here he goes up the inside. Oh, big dive bomb.
Whoa. Oh,
almost
no contact though.
Wow.
Wow, how was that not contact? Yep, have a look. This is what you said, Jay. The ERT car's ready to pounce, but it looks like Healy's made it difficult for Jackaman, and he's had to slot back in behind.
He's actually lost out of that too. Pick up a Cup Price Racing replay of that from a slightly different angle, because that move from Healy, which somehow almost paid off, and then somehow there wasn't contact.
Yeah, it was... Healy almost did it, but then there was a little bit of over-rotation at the apex, and the rear end broke free. He just wasn't able to get the power down, so that's what made him lose out.
Actually, it was a slight little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, so...
Yeah, I noticed Rougier was sort of preemptively covering Healy coming into the hairpin, but Healy was already there.
8.5 minutes left, so we are pretty much at halfway in this race already.
Muggleton's checked out.
Yeah, 2.2 second lead now for Josh Muggleton over Scott Larnack in second. But as we said, this race only counts for setting the grid. Main event coming up after this race concludes, which I'm really looking forward to. It'll be very, very interesting to see how these guys go with a little curveball of the first pit stop this season.
Yeah, for sure. Having a look down in the back of the field, looks like things have calmed down somewhat. David Coleman versus Alex Greenwood I'm having a look at right now. Yep. That looks like an interesting battle.
On screen at the moment, a little bit of a gap's just formed, but they were very, very close coming through the chute. That Porsche of David Coleman looks a little bit secondhand. Something's happened to Michael Hammond. He's spun
Oh no.
at the hairpin. I think he may have
And
rotated it on the exit.
He's in the pit. And he's quit.
Hammond now out of the race. So he was in for a decent top 10 finish behind Bo Albert. He was in 9th.
Yeah. He would have still maintained it if he continued.
Yeah, it's a bit strange.
There was a
why
pretty
he's
big
just
gap.
decided to quit.
Yeah. Oh well.
Big advantage play for Ben Dowell. He's now up to 9th.
Yeah, certainly. So looks like that that mistake that he ended up making on his hot lap and qualifying didn't mean much after all.
Saying that, he may have been with Muggleton. The only downfall.
That is very true.
In practice, he was only a 10th off Muggleton. At the moment, he's 15 seconds behind. Go back to the battle, though. Jason Hyde trying to hold on from Justin Rougier, and Michael Healy now has Luca Jackerman right on his tail.
Yep, so this oscillates from being two two-car battles and one four-car battle, depending on the corner.
Got about 6 laps left in this race as well.
Yep. Oh, Hyde pushing very hard through turns 1 and 2. Looks like Hyde's got a little bit of damage as well on his front left.
Doesn't take much to damage the panels on this car. Slight little clip of the wall, especially right there.
Oh, that was very close.
And I believe from about 2 laps earlier, 3 laps earlier, when we saw that move from Healy and Rougier, I think that was where Hyde got that damage, because I remember seeing him very, very wide offline the Cup Price Racing replay. So that could be where that damage has come from for Jason Hyde. Rougier looking now to pounce. He's right there now.
Yeah, Rougier just able to keep up that momentum, keep up the pressure, and he's gaining a bit under brakes. Oh, Hyde. Looked like the rear end was just a little unstable in the hairpin. Not to any huge degree, but still. It's something that Rougier will see and factor into his... Whoa, Rougier going straight off the track in turn 1. Look at how close he is.
Yeah, he's right there now.
Yeah.
You're looking to make a move at the hairpin. I believe. I'm trying to speak English today, but it's not working too good. He knows that Hyde's vulnerable here. But in saying that, Hyde's just had his best run through the little chute.
Yeah. Looks
Able to
like...
hold the spot.
Yeah, I'm noticing, especially over the hill, it looks like Hyde is a lot stronger on throttle than Rougier is. So Rougier is able to gain quite a bit through the turns on this circuit that require mainly just turning while braking and all that sort of stuff. So turn 1, turn 3, that sort of deal. But when it comes to acceleration zones, Jason Hyde's got the measure of him.
Would be the way that the cars have been set up for these guys, is set up in completely polar opposites, which somehow are both working. I don't know. I've got no answers to that. Interesting, just noticing Bo Albert's dropped off the back of Luca Jackerman as well. He was right on his tail earlier, now he's gone. A long way back.
Yeah, he certainly has. Oh, and that pack's going through and passing a lapped car. That is Daniel Stevens.
Interesting to note too, the fastest driver on track at the moment is Jake Maloney in P3. Lapping around about 2/10 quicker than Scott Larnack ahead of him, but I don't think there'll be enough laps for him to catch up. Mark
Yeah, I doubt it.
Past Wayne Pendley as well, so that's another move done back in the field. Missed that, but that move is done. Maloney might have enough time. There's still 3 laps left in the race. He might get the back of Larnack. I don't think he's through though. I think the real battle to watch is between Hyde and Rougier. Here he comes.
Oh,
Almost contact.
very close. Have a look at Jackerman and Healy behind them. Still as close as ever. Very intense battle between these guys.
I mean, minutes 40 on the clock, so 3 laps left in this race. Coming up past Warwick Brown, who is a lap down.
Oh, goodness me,
Rougier.
Jackerman.
Here comes Rougier.
Yeah.
Great exit through the chute. Is he going to be close enough? Not quite.
Hyde just got the measure of him there in the second phase of acceleration out of the corner.
Healy's just doing enough to keep Jackerman right at the same sort of gap. Every time Jackerman gets a bit of a run, Healy's just got enough to keep that position at the same gap. Then seems to pull away a couple of tenths again.
Yep, have a look at how much Rougier's pushing there. Going into the gravel trap.
You'll know there's
He always
2
gets
laps
so
left too.
close.
Yeah, he's right there. One little mistake from Hyde and it's position change done.
Yeah,
Hyde's
but
done
once
a great
again,
job.
yeah, once again, it's Hyde's performance after the apex of the corner that's defining his place in this battle. He's able to just get that power down and get the gap on Rougier when he needs it most. So you have a look through here. Oh, Hyde taking a bit of the curb and then some. Looks like he's actually drawn a gap out on Rougier here.
Extended it out to over half a second. That entire battle pack sort of spread a little bit.
Yeah. I have a feeling that... Oh, have a look at Healy flashing
Healy's
his
starting
lights.
to flash his lights of Rougier, so Healy must think he's got pace to get the move done.
This is intriguing. I have a feeling Rougier might have just backed off. Once again, risk versus reward.
Yep. Final lap of the race.
Yep, I think he's thought maybe I just won't be able to catch Hyde. I'm just going to hang back and consolidate my position, defend from Healy if he tries to make a move on me.
Maloney's still the fastest driver on track. He's got that gap down to 8 tenths of a second. He's not far away. 7 tenths
Yeah, certainly
now.
isn't. One mistake from Larnack and he's right there. Oh yeah, they're very close, but Muggleton up in front had no trouble at all. Oh man. That battle for 4th to 7th is still very much on.
Definitely on again now. Muggleton coming into the hairpin for the final time though.
Yep, once again a very good performance from Muggleton, and this means that he will start on pole for race 2.
Yep, great drive from Muggleton.
Larnack has just held off Maloney as well.
Yep. Hyde looks like he's going to hold off Root there. Hilly won't be able to get past either. Jackerman will tuck in behind. So those guys have come home in the positions that we saw them start that final lap on. Bo Albert in 8th position. Ben Dow caught Bo Albert in the end.
Yeah, he certainly
Great
did.
pace
And
from Dow.
yeah, Dow finishing very strong 9th place. Of course, perhaps one of the best results possible from a 26th place start. And Andrew Stokes picking up 10th place. Very good job. Looks like a lot of drivers picking up positions in this race. So Stuart Hall finishing in 11th. Pendley and Coleman finishing in 13th and 14th. Matthew Kidd picking up some positions as well. So there you go.
Thoroughly entertaining first race. As we said, next race we'll have pit stop thrown in for something a little bit special. Run through the results, which will be our starting grid for the main event coming up very, very soon. Muggleton from Larnack. Maloney almost got there, 7 tenths in the end. Jason Hyde, great drive from him to hold on to that 4th position. Justin Rougier 5th, Healy 6th, Luca Jackman 7th, Bo Albert 8th. Ben Dow gained 17 spots. He'll start the next race in 9th position. Andrew Stokes rounds out the top 10.
Yep, and Stuart Hall will start 11th in race 2 with Mark Dean in 12th, Wayne Pendley 13th, David Coleman from 27th to 14th, Matthew Kidd finishing in 15th with Alex Greenwood taking up position number 16. 17th and 18th is going to be Corey Ott and Simon Mazzomo. Gary Hamilton from a 9th place start in this race. He will unfortunately start 10 positions further back in race 2, and George Johnson will start in 20th.
Rest of the field, Warwick Brown, Daniel Stevens, Mark Turner, Mark McDonald, Michael Ham, Griffin Gardner, and Jay Boving. Oh, race 1 done. Race 2 not that far away.
Yep, and this is going to be the race for the points, Jay.
Yep, all that, well then, literally means nothing.
Yeah, it was just a big extended qualifying session that was
Glorified
split
qualifying.
over 2 sessions. Yeah.
Ready to go. We'll quickly about what we've got coming up over the next couple of weeks here at V8 Live. We've got a mega month here in December race. Remember what we've actually got on, but we've got heaps.
Yeah, we certainly have. The first couple of rounds of V8 Scop's Enduro season, well, the first round rather, the Phillip Island 500 is next week. Absolutely fantastic event, and yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Yep,
Of
so
course,
coverage of that Saturday and Sunday next weekend.
Yep. Of course, we can't forget our coverage of the official V8 Supercar Online series presented by Aussie Driver Search.
Ali of that championship tomorrow night from Road Atlanta. Got All-Star Shootout 4 coming up a week after next as well, in about 9 days' time, I think. Also got the start of our new MX5 series, Cut Price Racing MX5 Challenge.
Yeah, that's going to be a very exciting series.
The MX5 Challenge. Really looking forward to that. And
yeah.
Also, weekend after next, start our coverage of the test round for the Oceanic Endurance Championship. Well,
yep, I'm very excited for that as well. Oh, yeah.
Racing.
I do love my endurance racing indeed. I love my prototypes as well. I had a good time racing the Ford GT and IMSA this season, but the HPD will always be my first love, so can't wait to jump back in that. Oh, yeah, for sure. At least when it comes to iRacing.
The week after that, we've got dirt racing 410 Sprint Car Grand Slam. Thursday the 21st. Coverage of that event. And then that weekend, 3rd, 24th of September. Great one. The big one. The main event. What is unofficially the finale. At Scott season. Bathurst 1000. One that we don't pencil in. We write it in pen, texter.
Red texter.
Highlight it, paint it. We have it marked in our calendar for the whole year. We love it. It's our favourite event. We coverage, and possibly again this year here on V8 Online. So we'll have that coming up on the 23rd and 24th of September before we'll restart V8 Supercar Online series. Plenty of things. Coverage starting of a new dirt series coming up. Oh, but heaps happening. Heaps of new things. Heaps of fun things. And really look forward to the next few months here at V8 Online.
Yeah, certainly a very packed schedule to finish off the year in these last few months. It's been a great year already, and it's only going to get better.
And yeah, heaps of fun things coming the next few months here at V8 Online. Yet because haven't been done in pen. We've got them in pencil. We'll get there. We'll be able to announce them soon. Here I am stuttering. I can't even say what I'm trying to say. Yeah, we'll announce more and more series that we're going to be broadcasting in the coming weeks and months. But I think
as Jay turns into a robot for the briefest of seconds.
I do turn into a robot.
You must be a robot to do all of this directing and organizing.
Love it. I love it. Love it. Yeah, heaps of fun things coming up, and I'm really looking forward to the Oceanic Endurance Championship, which will be something very, very different for us from the broadcast side. I know that you and I have both raced a fair bit of endurance racing, but broadcasting endurance stuff, we haven't done a huge amount. We're going to do the entire series from green flag to checkered flag. We're going to bring coverage of the entire race, every race in that. Very, very different for us.
Yeah, certainly is. Endurance racing is a whole different beast. I mean, we do get a taste of it in V8 Scops Enduro season, but sports car racing is an entirely different beast to the occasional venture into endurance racing by giant 650 horsepower touring cars. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm having stuttering issues as well, Jay.
Yeah,
I think I need a coffee.
Yeah, I can't wait to go and have a coffee after we finish this tonight. Get a coffee and go and sit on the couch ready for Formula One, but we're a little bit away from Formula One starting, so that'll be good. So that'll be a very, very interesting race in Formula One tonight. I don't know if we should talk about that while we wait for the session to load up. Or actually, as we say that, the session is up, so we can go and join.
Excellent. And this time I'll make sure to join the server as a spectator.
My apologies for my mic occasionally cutting out too. I'm just having issues getting the mic cut levels 100% right on my end. So my apologies, because I go directly into the broadcasting software. My mic sometimes doesn't like to play as friendly as it should. Reese's, on the other hand, Reese's comes through external software, and his is always perfect because Reese is a perfect man.
Oh, thanks, Jay.
Look, my pleasure, mate. My pleasure.
You always know how to make a Reese feel better.
Without Reese, there'd be no V8s online. Everyone knows that.
Excuse me, you're the guy who founded this place.
I did, and could you believe it? We're coming up to our 6th birthday in 2 months' time. 6.
Oh, wow.
6.
That is incredible.
And as far as we can tell, we are the longest running continuous iRacing broadcaster.
That's pretty incredible, actually.
So we've seen a lot of broadcasters come and go, but we are the longest running continuously from when we started to now. So I think that's pretty good.
That's excellent. So V8's Online is almost ready to start primary school.
Do you know what's funny? We're
What's
going
that?
a little bit off topic while we're waiting for the session to start up. So I've just enrolled my son Harrison in a primary school. So can you believe that that's how old V8's Online and Harrison link up pretty much together? My son Harrison, if you don't know, he turned, well, he's 5.5. He just ready to go to primary school. We're up to primary school time. So you may see Harrison occasionally feature in my streams that I do, my personal streams, and Reese will also be starting to hopefully stream soon as well for his own personal stuff. So look, let's do shameless plugs for each other. Reese,
Yeah, sure.
Southpaw Racer, look him up on YouTube and Facebook and all of the other interweb things, and you can search for me, The Sads, on Twitch, and also The Sads iRacing on Facebook. But Reese puts out a lot more funny content than me. I put out more terribly bad driving videos and me crashing in the V8 supercar.
Yeah, I mostly focus on taking out my frustrations on racetracks I don't like and ruining racetracks that I do like in image editing programs.
I do love your how to ruin a racetrack videos. They are by far the best videos that you put out. So Reese, please do more.
I certainly shall.
Have you got a new track or your next track of choice for ruining a racetrack?
I haven't decided yet. I do take requests though, so I am monitoring the comments section.
I haven't got any requests as of yet, but I think that an Australian track needs to be ruined.
Yep, for sure. I'll take a look at a few.
Maybe Adelaide could be ruined a little bit.
Perhaps.
I feel like there's not enough 90-degree corners.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
The reason that we're talking at the moment, we're just waiting for everyone to get into the session so that we can bring your pictures through from the warm-up and race to the main event tonight here in Carrera Cup Australia. Which it looks like we're almost ready to go.
Yep. And actually, how many right angle turns does Adelaide have? There's obviously the street section, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 right angle turns.
Yeah, so
and then
turns
you've got
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you've got the corner coming back after the hairpin, which I believe is turn 10.
So what's that? 5 right angle
5.
turns?
Look, I think you could easily double that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think there'll be a lot more scope for redevelopment in the Victoria Park Racecourse section.
Look, I'm very sure that there are a lot of houses that are quite dilapidated that need to be knocked down.
Oh yeah,
We have got pictures through though, finally.
fantastic stuff. And Chris Harris in the broadcast chat. I'm still debating on whether I should veto Mount Panorama from being suggested for how to ruin a racetrack, because, like, I mean, if I did that, I swear I'd
I think you'd have to renounce your citizenship, wouldn't you? If you
I would actually. I think that's written in the Constitution somewhere.
If not, we need to put that in with a referendum to change it. That you
Yeah, we
cannot-
should.
There's no blasphemy spoken about Mount Panorama.
Yeah, who do we get in touch with to see if we can get a public vote on
Look,
that?
I think we just go straight to the Queen, don't we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Yep. Are you willing to pay for my airfare to the UK?
Oh, I was only going to write a letter.
I hear. Well, if we turn up in person, then obviously it'll make more of an impact. Interestingly enough, Qantas now does non-stop flights from Perth to London. So,
Look,
you want to jump over to Perth? We can just get on a plane and fly
Fonty-
for 18 hours.
Fonty's already in London, so he can just go and walk down and knock on a door. Say, hey, Lizzie.
Fonty volunteers as tribute.
Oh, we've got 2.5 minutes left in the warm-up session. Then, as we said, we're into a half an hour race tonight. The drivers will have to traverse the pit lane once and stop in their pit box for some sort of service. Whether they decide to take tyres, take fuel, or do nothing, that is entirely up to them. I'm guessing it will be the latter for all of them.
Yes, indeed. A bit of a windshield tear off at the very least.
I'd definitely be making sure the windscreen tear-off was done. They have to pit after the 15-minute mark of the race too, so the second half of the race is when they must pit.
All right, so the first 15 minutes are going to be a waiting game. But also, I think it'll be interesting to see, like, if the 15-minute mark of the race passes after the leaders have passed the pit entry, because then that means that the latter half of the field can possibly get an undercut.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be too much of an undercut, considering they won't actually have to do too much in regards to service, so... Yeah. Interesting. We haven't had to think about this curveball so far this season, and I really like it. The guys have had all an out-and-out sprints the entire way through from round 1 up to this round 8. We've got one more round left in the championship in 2 weeks' time at Mount Panorama for the finale of this championship. And it will be decided in that last race as well who will win Carrera Cup Australia. Sure, it will be very, very fun. 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This series has been great. Like, I've had a lot of fun commentating on this series, following the championship, seeing who's who and how they stack up in this championship. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the series finishing up.
Yeah, I don't want the series to finish up, but I'm looking forward to it finishing up at the same time, because it has been a fantastic series. And I know next season will be even bigger, better, stronger, faster. What are the rest of the things that Duff Punk say?
It's just harder, better, faster, stronger.
Power work is never over. Yeah. 5 seconds
Yes,
left on the
indeed.
clock. Thank you for saving me, timer.
I'll
Alright.
just
I'll just exit stage left. So once the clock hits 0 here, the starting grid will be up on the screen. Drivers will hit the grid. They'll have 1 minute to take to the track. We've got 25 drivers who have come back to reattempt. Josh Muggleton, as we said, will start from P1. Scott Larnack, P2. Jake Maloney, 3rd. Jason Hyde, he's going to have a lot of pressure on him in this race. Starts again from 4th. Justin Rougier, 5th. Michael Healy, 6th. Luca Jackerman, 7th. Bo Albert in 8th. Ben Dowell, 9th. And Andrew Stokes, 10th.
11th will be Stuart Hall, Mark Dean in 12th, 13th Wayne Pendley. The top 20 finished by David Coleman, Matthew Kidd, Alex Greenwood, Corey Ott, Simon Mazzomo, Gary Hamilton and George Johnson.
Then you got Warwick Brown, Daniel Stevens, Mark Turner, Mark McDonald and Griffin Gardner, the 25 cars. Alex Kidd was a game back in the 80s on Sega Mega Drive as the drivers get their revs up. We've had a good night tonight. Oh, there's someone moving back in the field. That might actually be George Johnson. He's moved a little bit there. He may get a black flag penalty as we are underway. And the field has got through turn 1. By the looks of it all, fairly smooth.
Yep, Muggleton getting off to a good start. Have a look at Rougier there at the inside of Hyde.
Yep.
So that's a move done for Rougier. It looks like the start's been fairly clean so far, but we'll wait until they get to the shoot.
Yeah, the shoot was where we've seen a lot of the action in race 1. Have a look at Hyde come back on Rougier. Almost gives him a little tap. And he's going to try and have a run. But they're all single file back in the field. Looks like it's all fairly smooth sailing. A little bit of bumping going on.
No.
Oh, there's a car in the fence.
Mark McDonald. He, unfortunately, looks like he may have gotten a little bit squeezed and, yeah.
Oh, 3 wide back in the field. Jason Hyde. Oh, Bo Albert's upside down.
Whoa. Oh, no.
Big crash. Luca Jackerman involved as well.
Oh, goodness me. What a huge incident there.
That started from the hairpin at the chute, where they were 3 wide. After it, when they bunched up with Hyde getting shuffled out to the outside after he got passed by Michael Healy. We've got a Cut Price Racing replay on screen at the moment. You'll see Healy up the inside. Just here, there's a bit of a wiggle from Hyde. And Healy got the move done. Albert side by side here.
Oh, there just wasn't enough space.
Yep. You just see Bo Albert ended up unfortunately collecting his teammate Luca Jackerman. And both of those guys are in the pits. And it looks like they are out of the race.
What a shame for ERT. That's a chance for a good team result, basically dashed here. Fortunately, Larnack is still up there in 2nd place, but it looks like out of all the drivers involved in that incident, Michael Healy is the one that's come off the best. He's still there in 5th place, just getting chased down by Ben Dowell. Yeah,
and Dowell actually was very, very lucky to not get involved in that. When there was wheel-to-wheel contact between Albert and Hyde, Dowell was the 3rd car in there, and he almost got cleaned up. We saw that from the onboard from Luca Jackerman. Jackerman's ended up back out on the track, so he's been able to get out there once again. But Bo Albert, he's out of the race. He's race done.
Yeah, once again, real shame for Evolution Racing Team. Well, they're 1 man left in the race, Scott Larnack. He's just over a second behind Josh Muggleton right now, and it looks like Jake Maloney is still within striking distance. Oh, yep.
Move done on Michael Healy. Nice and easy too. And I don't think Healy really was too worried about Dow going through because he knows he can tack onto the back of him. He'll be able to hunt down Rougier. He might be able to follow him through.
Yes, of course. Nice, smart driving from Michael Healy. Justin Rougier just up ahead. It looks like Dowell is already gaining massively on him. Watching his car physically grow larger in the view, in the rear view of Rougier. Oh, having said that, Dowell almost overshoots the hairpin.
Yeah, a bit of a moment there for Dale. He's, for the first time all night in the racing, he's been in the top 5, and he's actually hunting down a car and looking towards championship positions in this race.
Simon Mazzomo's just taken his pit stop. Or no, is that that'd be a penalty?
Yep.
I forgot about the 15-minute rule.
Yep.
Smart Reese.
It's all right. We've said it how many times tonight, but it has been a long day.
It certainly has. Tried to go out to nature reserve to shoot a short film assignment for uni, but I forgot it was Father's Day, and the nature reserve basically looked like a supermarket car park, so whoops-a-daisy.
Well, stupidly, we went to the supermarket today, and it looked like a supermarket car park because it was ridiculously packed.
Because it was a supermarket car park.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm always wondering if you pick me up on that. Stuart. Oh, jeez, I love making you laugh. Stuart Hall, Peter Dean, Mark Dean, and Jason Hyde. Have a look at this little battle pack going on. This is 8th, 9th, 10th. Andrew Stokes ahead of them, 2 in 7th. These guys fighting pretty hard.
Yep, have a look at Mark Dean. He's moving around quite a bit in just coming out of the hairpin. Have a look at he just gains on Andrew Stokes slightly coming into turn 1. Oh, looks like Dean's run wide a little. He's been able to get back on the throttle nicely, though. Hyde versus Hall, though. Have a look at them. Fighting a bit tooth and nail at the moment for those last positions in the top 10.
I'm impressed at the pace that Jason Hyde's got because he's
have a look
damaged.
at that. Got a big launch there out of the chute, so around he goes up the inside of Stuart Hall, yeah. That's Hyde to 9th.
Now, my apologies if you were using our website for the live timing. It's for some reason has stopped working. I'm not sure why, but a bit strange. Have a look at the battle for 3rd. It started to heat up as well. Sorry, actually, Ben Dow's right on the tail of Justin Rougier now.
Oh, yeah, he certainly is. This could get pretty juicy in the intervening laps. Oh, as I say that. Oh, they're 3 wide down the front straight, Jay. Andrew Stokes, Dean, and Hall. They were 3 wide, but now looks like Dean and Hyde are now side by side. Hyde taking the outside line into turn 1. He covers Dean coming into turn 2.
Good move
and
from
Dean
Jason
has to slot
Hyde.
back in behind.
So Hyde now up to 8th. He's doing a great job just picking off drivers, picking off positions, nice and steady and slow.
Yep,
nice
Andrew Stokes' line compromised a little bit in front of him, so he's going to gain a little bit more coming into the chute. Andrew Stokes very aggressive on the curbs, but Hyde, once again, extremely good. Oh, hello!
Oh,
that was not intended.
Big contact there, and that will hurt Hyde because he may get a post-race penalty for that as well. He's getting right out of the way. We'll get a Cup Price Racing replay of that one.
All right, well, it looks like Stokes saw Hyde coming and just moved across by about a car length to cover him into the hairpin, and then Hyde, I think, wasn't expecting Stokes to brake as early as he did and just lost the rear end.
After we see this incident, the move has been done. Ben Dell is ahead of Rougier now. So we'll stay with the Cup Price Racing replay and pick up this pass from Ben Dell. Now into 4th position. This helps his championship. And we're not far off the pit window opening at the 15-minute mark of this race.
How's the battle for 2nd, by the way, Jay? Larnack versus Maloney. They were bumper to bumper in turn 2.
Back live now, and we can pick that up.
So these guys incredibly close now. Maloney really putting the pressure down on Larnack.
Larnack looks like he's got pretty good drive, though, because he's getting out of the corners fine. It's just coming up into the corners that Maloney's starting to apply some pressure. It's the second half of the lap that we saw in the first race that Maloney looked quicker.
Yeah, that second half of the lap and also the first couple of turns on the following lap. It's the same sort of thing that we saw between Jason Hyde and Justin Rougier in race 1. One driver's set up for the corner entry, the other's set up for the exit.
Yep. So I'll see Maloney close up here in the next two corners, and then that gap will extend once again. Larnack will pull away. Now, so at the start-finish line, it was out to 7/10. Right now, live timing, it's showing 4/10. But right on cue, away goes Larnack again.
Yep. But have a look at Maloney. He's very confident in that front end. He's able to put that car exactly where he wants it, up to the apex. But then Larnack is just able to get that power down nicely out of these hairpins and pull that gap. See, have a look at the gap increasing between those two cars. Oh, Maloney gaining a little bit here, though.
Yeah, Maloney's actually doing a bit better job here. He's got a bit better line. Looks a little bit more stable and controlled here.
Got more mid-corner speed as there's a car off there. That's Mark Turner that they've just passed. So we're almost at the 10-minute mark in this race. We'll be coming up to the pit window opening very, very soon.
Gary Hamilton right on the tail of his teammate Stuart Hall. Hamilton looking very, very quick at the moment. I don't think there'll be too much of a fight between these two guys. They might try and work together and catch onto the back of Mark Dean ahead of them.
Yep. Looks like Hall just taking an alternate line out of the hairpin, and Hamilton just having a little look up the inside of him as they went through the start-finish area, making his intentions clear.
David Coleman and Andrew Stokes having a very, very good battle as well. Stokes trying to recover after that issue with Jason Hyde a couple of laps ago. And Coleman doing a great job moving his way through the field after the issues in race one. We saw his car very, very beaten up. He's got pretty good pace back there.
Yeah, he certainly is. Oh, have a look there at Warwick Brown. Big moment in the shoot. So he's lost a position there to Mark McDonald, who will now be putting the pressure on Mr. Coleman. And have a look at McDonald flashing his lights.
Yep, McDonald actually looks like he's got good pace despite being in the wall through the shoot on lap one as well.
Oh, Coleman. Oh, big moment for Coleman over the crest. I feel like McDonald was given a bit of a fright.
Yeah, because
look at McDonald here. He's going to go up the inside of the hairpin, right up the inside.
Brown.
And yeah, Brown's going to try and follow him through.
Gary Hamilton!
No!
Gary Hamilton is stuck on the tyre barrier.
Okay, how did that happen? How did that happen?
Before we go to the Cup Price Racing replay of that, we've just seen a pass for second place. Jake Maloney is through.
Excellent stuff.
2 Cup Price Racing replays for the price of 1 right now. We'll get the pass second to third, Larnack and Maloney. Larnack's definitely made a mistake in turns 1 and 2 because Maloney was a fair way back. A big slide from Larnack, and Maloney just able to get the drive, held the outside, and does it around the outside if you don't mind. Great move.
Wow. Yep, great move from Maloney. And once again, that just shows the confidence in the front end in action. That's one of the turns where it doesn't matter what throttle you put on, it's all about the front end. And Hamilton's incident, that was just bizarre.
I'll tell you what, lucky it's a virtual game because he hit driver's side door at about 140 k's an hour into a tyre barrier.
As most Australians would say, yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah, indeed. We're going to have to watch this battle for second now because Maloney, as we said, he was quicker in different sections of the track. He's pulled a bit of a gap now because he's been in the section of track he was quicker. But now Larnack coming up to the part of the track where he can capitalise here. This section here, up through the S's, is where Larnack is quicker. So if he can get right on the tail, he might be able to get a move back done through at the hairpin, if he can.
Yeah, certainly. It looks like both of them have gotten the power down nicely, though. Have a look at how aggressive they are over these curbs. Almost putting their car completely off the racetrack in pursuit of each other. Fantastic to see them working away at it. Meanwhile, Andrew Stokes and Mark McDonald going at it as well at the back of the top 10.
Great recovery from McDonald because he was absolute stone cold last on lap 1.
Brown round he goes. He's had a lot of trouble in that section of the track, so he's going to lose a few positions. And hey, look who it is again, Jason Hyde. He'll be wanting to try and regain a few more positions after the race that he's had.
Yep. Just outside the top 10 is Hyde now in P11.
The battle between Stokes and McDonald is very entertaining to watch as well. Stokes was just covering McDonald into the hairpin. But as you said before, Jay, McDonald looks like he has a lot of pace.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Oh, Ben Dow's had an issue. Ben Dow,
what?
He's around just before the shoot.
Yeah, big
Facing the wrong
damage.
direction. Fairly big damage. I think he's hit the fence at the exit of the
Oh, yeah.
S's there.
He certainly has. That's a fair hit. And the reason that happened was he just caught a bit of dirt on the exit of the curb. Sent him into a tank slapper and around he went. So now that Porsche's looking pretty flat-faced.
Yeah, it looks a bit sad now. He's still in P6, so definitely not the end of his race. But yeah, it doesn't look too good for him. Have a look at Jason Hyde right on the back of Mark McDonald now.
Yes, indeed. Coming up to the hairpin, might Hyde do a bit of a move. Looks like Andrew Stokes is going to be the first driver to take his scheduled pit stop.
Yep, just ticked over 15 minutes on the clock too, so perfect timing for him.
All right, so now this is where the next phase of the race is going to begin. We're halfway done. Now we're going to see drivers head into the pits and, well, it's anyone's guess how the field's going to shuffle then.
It'll be very, very interesting to see what happens in this pit stop cycle. Have a look at Jason Hyde. He's got very, very good pace still in that car. McDonald, we know, still got a bit of pace. Almost contact between Hyde and McDonald there.
Hyde absolutely barreling into the chute.
Greenwood not in the pits now too. They're making their pit stop service and away they go.
This is a pretty good battle between Hyde and McDonald here. Oh, Hyde just compromised his line through the S's. He's lost a bit more ground to McDonald. Oh, Hyde, once again, as McDonald goes into the pits. Oh, and he nearly loses the rear end doing so. He hits the wall. So, probably not the way one would want to enter the pits. And it looks like McDonald has got a bit of suspension damage on the front left.
Almost contact between Griffin Gardner and Warwick Brown in at the hairpin too. That was very, very close between those two guys. Quickly get a Cup Race Racing replay of that one.
Yeah, it looks like Griffin just lost the rear end. Under brakes at the hairpin, something that we've seen happen many times before.
Back live. So the front of the field's fairly settled at the moment. A 6-second lead for Muggleton over Maloney. Muggleton continues on. Maloney
pits.
Lana continues. So I think we'll see a little bit of strange play with pit stop strategy. The only ruling for the pit stops is after 15 minutes before the commencement of the final lap. So we might see
Dal follows Maloney in
as long as possible. So the TTL strategy is to pit now. Both TTL cars in the lane. The only issue with them guys pitting now, the only issue with those guys pitting now is where they're going to end up with traffic.
Yes.
In saying that, I don't think it really will matter because there's traffic everywhere on the track at the moment. Just watching Griffin Gardner come into the pits. That's ended that battle that he was having with Warwick Brown. Maloney's come out ahead of Stuart Hall and just in behind George Johnson. Johnson is a lap down. He gets out of the way. And Ben Dow is now out just behind Warwick Brown. So basically taking Griffin Gardner's spot on the track.
Yes, indeed. And Muggleton, our race leader, stays out of the pits. I get the feeling Muggleton might want to leave his pit stop as late as possible.
That'll eliminate any issues with traffic and the like. So I think that strategy probably is going to be best. Pit with about 3 or 4 minutes left on the clock. Don't have to worry about traffic for as long if you do end up with a bit of a bad luck situation. As we see Rougier now in the pits as well. Maloney will pass Rougier very, very quickly. Shortest pit stop time, have a guess, Reese. What do you think the shortest pit stop time has been so far?
0.1 seconds.
Unfortunately, not that quick.
Oh, yeah?
0.6 of a second for Maloney. Average, most guys is about 3 seconds, which I'm guessing will be a windscreen tear-off.
Yep, either windscreen tear-off or a couple of remedial repairs on the car, because I notice Mark McDonald, among others, has emerged with a far better-looking car than he entered the pits with.
Yep, there is the quick repair option, so I do know that Ben Dowell also has a nice, fresh, new Porsche as well. Muggleton in the lane.
Oh, so subverting our expectations of him.
I don't think traffic will hurt him at all because there's a pretty decent gap between Healy and Maloney, as Healy is in the lane as well. And Maloney, the first driver to have made his stops.
And Scott Larnack will assume the race lead.
Muggleton in 0.7 of a second later. He's back out and he'll come out right beside Griffin Gardner. Gardner will let Muggleton through. Maloney not too far behind, about 6.5 seconds back.
All right, so now eyes are on Larnack. When is he going to pit?
Healy's pitted, done. Almost contact between Rougier and Healy, and Rougier's got a spot on Michael Healy in the pit stops.
Well, that's pretty good, and Healy, once again, flashing his lights.
Actually, no, Rougier was just ahead of Healy before the stops.
I think Rougier might have gotten a slowdown there.
Yep.
He went way over that curb. He'll have to slow down, I would think. Unless he's just cleared it right away.
This is going to be very, very hot between Rougier and Healy. This is for effective 4th position.
Very entertaining battle already. Look at how close they are.
Yeah, a little bit of damage to Healy's car as well, so obviously wasn't able to get that fixed in those couple of seconds that he was stopped for. Very
interesting dichotomy of interesting dichotomy of lines there. Rougier taking a much more direct line to the apex than Healy.
4 drivers left to pit in this race. Larnack, Hall, Dean and Stevens. Also have Luca Jackerman, who will have to make his official pit stop. He's pitted to get damage fixed in his car.
Right, so Larnack is now going into the pits. Manages to get it slowed down in time. Now we'll see how long this pit stop's going to take.
Yeah, we'll see where he comes out in relation to Maloney as well. Larnack had a couple of laps of clear track ahead of him. Maloney coming through the hairpin now. 7 minutes left on the clock, so not long left in this race.
Muggleton retakes the lead.
Larnack stops.
Maloney's already gone by.
Yeah, Maloney's got a big jump. Larnack is going to come out around about with Rougier and Healy not far ahead of them.
Yeah. So, wow, that's a huge amount of time that Larnack's lost relative to those guys.
He's 3.8 seconds at the pit stop, so he's had a little bit of damage fixed or something similar. Bendale now 6th position after that issue we saw him have earlier. Jason Hyde's had an issue. Jason Hyde's out of the race.
Oh yeah, that's...
Now there is an incident limit, so I'm wondering if he's hit that limit.
Yeah, wondering he might have. I'm just having a look at him when he last appeared on track. I don't know. He just disappeared.
Yeah, strange.
That's
Very
very
bizarre.
odd.
Back live now. We've got 6 minutes left on the clock. Muggleton leads by 6.7 seconds to Jake Maloney. Scott Larnack another 6 seconds back. Justin Rougier another 6 seconds further back from there. And then Michael Healy, 5th position, is 8/10 back. Not maintaining our 6.66.
Yes, indeed. And it looks like Jason Hyde's problems were related to internet because he's dropped from the server.
Yep, that would make sense as to why his sudden strange disappearance act. He all of a sudden became a magician. Didn't quite work though. Either way, it's been a very eventful race for Hyde.
It certainly has. He's been up and down and side to side and just about any which way you can go in a Porsche Carrera Cup around Sonoma.
So Muggleton crosses the line, 5 laps left in this race. He starts the 21st of what will be a 25-lap race. 5 minutes left on the clock. And this will definitely mix up the championship too.
It certainly will. Muggleton will definitely gain on Larnack and the championship standings. Jake Maloney will get a leg up as well. Actually, having a look.
It'll actually make it very, very close between Muggleton and Bo Albert. Bo won't be racing the last round at Bathurst. So it'll actually mean that Albert will have a 1-point lead over Josh Muggleton going into the last round of the championship. So Muggleton will just have to finish ahead of Albert, but Larnack's going to be the curveball in amongst it too. It's definitely going to be very, very close between all of those three in the end.
Yes, indeed. Well, Muggleton 7 seconds ahead of Jake Maloney. He doesn't really have much to worry about in that position right now.
He's done it pretty easy from the start of this race. Rougier, big brake lock-up coming up into the hairpin. He's starting to stretch out that gap from Healy, but after that little bit of a mistake, it's closed up to under a second once more. That battle's definitely not over. 4 laps left in this race.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like Healy's just falling back a little relative to Rougier, but he's still maintaining striking distance. So one mistake from Rougier, and Healy will be right back up there again.
On board with Warwick Brown as he hunts down Wayne Pendley and just ahead David Coleman. These guys have locked in a pretty intense battle at the moment. A little bit of a mistake from Pendley.
Oh yeah. Warwick Brown, another driver that's seen better days in terms of this race. He's had 2 big incidents that have put him on the back foot. All things considered, he probably should be in the top 10.
Yeah, he should be right up towards the pointy end, but a little bit of bad luck. Which, quite a few drivers we've said that about tonight that have had a bit of bad luck on their side. I don't think we've had too many that have had any good luck tonight.
Yeah, I think probably the few up the front, you could say, have had relatively spotless races. It definitely results in some entertaining scraps for us.
It's been highly entertaining. I've thoroughly enjoyed this race. It's been great to watch.
Oh, have a look at Brown gaining on Pendley. Oh. Gained massively through flat-out left-hander. Now he's going to gain again in the braking zone.
They've both gained on Coleman as well. Coleman's lacked a little bit of pace in the second half of this lap. Clock hits 2 minutes, so not long left in this race now. Pendley might get this move done on Coleman before Brown can get the move done on Pendley, I think.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Coleman's lines are just a little inconsistent, and Pendley, you can see behind him, making some massive gains, especially right there into the chute.
Yep. Yeah, I think at
Yeah,
the
Pendley
hairpin,
much
it'll be
harder.
done this lap around. Oh, big slide though from
Ooh,
Pendley.
Yeah. Lost traction, so he's lost a little bit of ground to Coleman. And Brown is going to be right there to see if he can take any scraps from this. Now, it's through this corner that I saw Brown gaining quite a bit on Pendley last lap. You can see it happen right there. Brown almost right on the bumper of Pendley. He might try to line up a move at the hairpin, but I think he's too far back to make it work right now. Oh, man. They're bumper to
almost
bumper in the
contact.
hairpin. Oh, yep, contact.
Oh,
Looks
Brown's
like
through.
Yeah, Brown just gave Pendley a little bit of a tap, and that sent him sliding, allowed Brown to get through.
Muggleton crosses the start-finish line on what will be the final lap of this race with 20 seconds on the clock. Been a very, very dominant race once again for Muggleton. He's currently got an 8-second lead over Jake Maloney, who has 6 seconds on Scott Larnack. And then Rougier 10 seconds back. Still has Healy on his tail, but he's pulled a bit of a gap once again.
Yeah, well, barring some drastic incidents on the last lap, I get the feeling that that may be our top 5 that you see there at the present time.
It'll definitely be these 5 drivers. It's just which order will it be in regards to Rougier and Healy. But Muggleton, what can you say? He's been dominant once again. Had a little bit of pressure applied to him in practice in regards to the timesheets.
Warwick Brown's had another spin, Jay.
Oh no.
He's round, so he's managed to get going again.
And that happened just ahead
in
of
front of a
Muggleton
pack
too.
of cars. Yes.
So Muggleton through the final corner for the final time. Great drive once again from Josh Muggleton. He'll pick up the win here, round 8 of Porsche Carrera Cup Australia here at Sonoma. Contact between him and Corey Ott at the start-finish line as well, just to finish it off.
Big kiss as Jake Maloney crosses the line to finish second, and Scott Larnack will take third. Looks like Rougier has managed to hold off Healy in the end.
Yep. There's actually a battle starting to go between Stuart Hall and Mark McDonald. McDonald managed to get himself back up to 8th position, or he's run a little bit wide off in the dirt.
Yeah, that's been going on for a couple of laps now. Looks like Hall just preemptively covering him into the final turn, but looks like Stuart Hall will take 7th place. Mark McDonald, if there was a hard charger award, he'd definitely get that. From 24th to 8th. Fantastic climb up, especially after the race 1 that he had.
Now, Luca Jacobman's come into the pits. I think he may have forgotten to do his second pit stop.
Oh, no.
Or his actual pit stop, because we did see him pit on lap 1 or lap 2 for that damage repair from that big crash we saw.
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually satisfied the rules there. That might
be
get a steward's report later on, but still, nonetheless, a good showing of pace from Jacobman.
Last drive across the line, so we will run through the results. Josh Muggleton, our winner by 8.5 seconds in the end over Jake Maloney. Scott Larnack in 3rd position. Then Justin Rougier, Michael Healy, Ben Dowell, Stuart Hall, Mark McDonald, Mark Dean, and Andrew Stokes, your top 10 tonight.
Luca Jacobman will finish in 11th place, but of course, if our suspicions are correct, that will be subject to a steward's review post-race. David Coleman finishing in 12th, 13th Wayne Pendley. Corey Ott, the first driver, a lap down in 14th place, with Warwick Brown in 15th, Daniel Stevens in 16th, Alex Greenwood in 17th, Griffin Gardner, George Johnson, and Simon Mazzomo round out your top 20.
Yep, then over the page that did not finishes tonight. Unfortunate for Jason Hyde, Gary Hamilton, Mark Turner, Matthew Kidd, and Bo Albert.
Well, I am well chuffed with that event. That was very entertaining.
Yeah, it was one of our most entertaining. We say it every time we broadcast this series that it's been one of our most entertaining nights, but that was a thoroughly enjoyable event once again. Porsche Carrera Cup Australia, one of our favourite series to broadcast purely because the racing is so much fun.
Yeah, it certainly is. These cars with very little to modify in terms of setup and their very unique driving style definitely make for some entertaining racing no matter what track you put them at. So, yeah, Sonoma definitely turned it up tonight for 2 frenetic races around this track that is a huge amount of work.
Yep, there's no chance to have a breath. There's no chance to have any rest because it is just flat out. You either got your foot on the loud pedal, your foot on the brake, or you're turning the wheel for pretty much the entire lap. So a thoroughly enjoyable track that we won't see for a little while. So that makes me a little bit sad that we won't see any racing here for a little while, Reese. No, it's my favourite.
Yeah, certainly. It's very much I'd go so far as to say it's iRacing's Monaco in terms of layout. It's got extreme elevation changes. It's got a huge amount of corners packed into a tight little space, and well, I guess the one thing that Sonoma has over Monaco is that it actually enables good racing.
Yeah, if that actually
Not throwing any shade there at all.
No. If it actually had walls right on the painted line, I think you would 100% agree with that. I don't think there'd be any way that you could discount it. Like we used to say that before we had Mount Panorama, that VIR was our Bathurst, or as close as we had to Bathurst. This is as close as we've got to Monaco at the moment. So I would 100% agree.
Well, certainly turned it up tonight once again, and currently waiting to see if any drivers will jump in for an interview to finish this broadcast off.
Yeah, we'll give them a couple more seconds. As we said, big month of broadcasting here in September. Broadcasting every Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, plus special events throughout the month as well. Monday, tomorrow night, that is, we will be here for the final round of this season's Aussie Driver Search iRacing official V8 Supercar Series. Then we would actually get a couple of days off, Race. A couple of days off.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday night, pencil it in, grab a texter, write it on your forehead. Saturday night, qualifying, and the top 15 shootout for V8 Scops Phillip Island 500. Saturday night. Saturday. Make sure you tune in for that. Sunday, we will have the Phillip Island 500, the first race in the Hyper Stimulator Endurance Cup. And then we will have the All-Star Shootout coming up next week as well. We've got the start of the Mazda MX-5 series as well coming up very, very soon, starting on the 14th of September. I'm really looking forward to that, thanks to Cut Price Racing.
Yeah, for sure. Got a big month ahead in the month of September for V8s Online. It looks like our first drivers are there, awaiting interviews. And Josh Muggleton enters the commentary box with a bang, as he did as he did win with a bang in this event. Muggo, congratulations.
Thanks, guys. I'm still trying to work out how to use this Discord thing, but yeah, good race. Happy with the result. I needed that for the championship. First race was just managing the gap and make sure I bring it home for a pole start in the second one, and then in the second one I really wanted to take it to him and put the pressure on from the front because I'm fighting Scotty for the championship, so I wanted to take it out of his head that he could catch me and get him looking in his mirrors. So I've got someone in between us, got Jake in between us for the points, so close the gap a bit more and we'll go on to the next round.
Was it all about making sure you were dominant in this race more than anything else?
I think so, yeah. I've had a couple of shockers this season and missed a couple of rounds, so I really needed to, like I said, put the pressure on from the front and try and force him into a mistake, which I'm not sure what happened to him, but I knew Jake was pretty quick and he could take it to him from behind. So yeah, all went to plan. Shootout lap, but I dragged one out, so that was good. But yeah, all in all, a good night for the Harrop HRS Porsche.
Excellent stuff, Muggo. Well, congratulations once again on your win this round, and we'll see you at Bathurst, the best track of the season, in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be good practice before Scops as well, where I'm chasing the championship too. So valuable miles there. We never race at Bathurst enough. It's always a good track to turn up to.
Before we let you go to next week, obviously Phillip Island 500 in V8 Scops. I hear a rumor that you're racing in the V8 as well.
I am making a comeback. Yes.
Exciting.
Ah,
And not only a comeback, I hear you're with the championship leader as well.
Yeah. Look, I'm throwing myself in the deep end. I haven't driven the V8 in a fair while before a couple of weeks ago. So getting back into it. It's a completely different car to the last time I drove it. But like in the real life stuff, driving the Porsche is good practice for that car. It has some good traits that you can carry over, especially the braking, which is really hard in the Porsche. So makes the V8 seem easy after that. So I'm excited to team up with Jared and hopefully keep him in the championship lead. And I don't want to do things by halves. I want to go out and win the Enduro Cup and extend his championship lead. So we'll be trying to keep that Harrop HRS Commodore right at the front.
Good luck for next weekend, mate.
Yeah, I'm going to need it. Thank you.
See you, mate.
See ya.
Josh Muggleton there. Wow, big words from him, Jay. Next up is Mr. Maloney, a second place finisher for TTL Esports, of course, rebranded team now with all new cars, half new name, and very good pace here at Sonoma. Jake, how was it from your perspective?
Pretty good. About sort of what I'd hoped for tonight. I didn't think I would have had the pace on Muggo coming into the night, but getting ahead of Scott and everyone else behind was about what I'd hoped for.
That move you made over Larnack there after his little bit of a mistake, that was pretty impressive around the outside there, mate.
Yeah, it went okay. Saw he made the mistake, and luckily he gave me the outside line, which turned to the inside line from the next corner. So made it pretty easy, and then from there pretty much just pulled away.
Looked like he had pretty good pace all event in that TTL Esports Porsche. Jake, I suppose you were a pretty late joiner to this championship, but nonetheless, before this round on drop points, you were 19th, I believe, in the championship. So you still have a lot of room left in the last round at Bathurst to get a few more positions up.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the points are looking, but I think there might be a chance to get up near the top 10 maybe, winning last round and then coming second here. So a few good results in the last few rounds should hopefully move us up a little bit.
All right, well, congratulations once again on the second place, Jake, and hopefully we'll talk to you again at Mount Panorama in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep, I'll be there.
Jake Maloney for TTL Esports, and I think Scott Larnack will be our final interviewee for tonight. Well, Scott, you looked on course for a second place finish in race 2, but unfortunately Maloney got the better of you. Nonetheless, it was a very good result.
There you guys. Yeah. Kind of a one to forget, I think. I made a bit of a mistake going into turn 1 after making a slight setup adjustment, which just made the back end a little bit loose. And I was trying to correct it. I hit my pit limiter button twice and just let Jake through. So, and then I was just over driving the car and he got away from me. So, and it is what it is, I guess.
Bit of an interesting format tonight. Did you like the mix-up in regards to having to pit stop and all that sort of stuff as well?
Yeah, I did. The shootout, I really enjoy it. It's really, really good spectacle for sure. But yeah, with the pit stop, it would have been good. You say everyone had to get a set of tyres or something like that. But yeah, I was silly and made another mistake and left the windshield tear off on. So I slapped with another 4-second drop in the pit. So just shot myself in the foot with that one.
Well, the championship is certainly still on for Bathurst. I mean, you were the leader accounting for drop weeks coming into this round. Of course, Muggleton will have gotten a leg up on you after this event. But I suppose in a couple of weeks' time at Bathurst, you'll be looking to take the win.
I will try my very best. Muggo's a tough competitor, so yeah, I'll have to be sure to bring my A game and bring it all.
Excellent. Well, hopefully you and Muggo turn it up at Bathurst in a couple of weeks' time. Scott, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Awesome, guys. Looking forward to it. See you then.
Well, Jay, Scott Larnack for Evolution Racing Team. Our third place finisher at Sonoma, and what a round it was.
What an awesome night of racing. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next round in this championship, the final round in 2 weeks' time. But as we've said numerous times tonight, we've had some amazing racing and plenty more to come this month. Big month of racing, big month of sim racing coming up. And tomorrow night we'll be doing it all again in the official V8 Supercar Series.
We certainly will. Make sure that you join us for that. If you can make the time for it, make sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube as well to be notified of any future broadcasts we put up. And be sure to follow us on Twitter as well at V8s Online. And if you want to have a look at the goss in the AusNZ iRacing community, be sure to take a look at our website, www.v8sonline.com. Thank you very much for joining me, Jay. It was an absolute pleasure tonight.
My pleasure for joining you, Race. I love it when you're in the comms box with me, and looking forward to the finale in 2 weeks' time.
Yep, we'll definitely see you viewers all then. Well, we're going to the mountain. Absolutely fantastic place for racing in any car, but a full field of Porsche Carrera Cup cars going around it is certainly a spectacle to see. Well, this has been the broadcast of Round 8 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship presented by Sim Racing Bay. Your winner for this round was Josh Muggleton. Who will be the winner at Bathurst? We'll see in 2 weeks' time. See you then.